Interesting. I might do that another time. Okay, let's start with worst in role. First of all, worst technical. No one's surprised. Krillin. Krillin had a 38% win rate in the data. He is by far the worst character in the game in terms of win rate. I still think you can make him work sometimes. He's the only technical with a actually decent way to secure boss with his ult. If you put provoke on the boss first. The problem with that is some bosses are immune to that. For example, Ribrianne is immune to like negative status effects. So his ult does negative damage against Ribrianne. There's no point in trying to use it. His mines get exploded by everything. Everything that's energy based just gets rid of his mines. Skill 2 is a nothing burger skill. Like for characters like with AoEs, like that's not going to stop them from doing what they do. And same thing for skill 3. Skill 3 is decent damage, but it's not good enough as a skill to carry the character alone. Worst tank in the game. I think you can make an argument between these two. Considering Super Saiyan Vegeta got buffed recently, I'm more inclined to say Zamasu's the worst right now. Zamasu is really good early game, but mid to late game he falls off. His healing just isn't enough against the amount of burst in this game right now, in the meta. So he just kind of falls off really hard, and he can't really do anything to fight back. This Super Saiyan Vegeta got buffs. He's not terrible. He's not good. So I'll put him in decent for now. Now we have 2 picks for worst DPS. Trying to think. Topo. First of all, Topo. He gets absolutely destroyed late game. Early game, he's not even that threatening against characters that can vanish a lot. For example, Kefla. Or, well, anybody that can just get away out of his range of counter. Or just any player that knows at the time they're vanished against his counter. Like, he does nothing. He's a sitting duck. You can use it in niche situations. For example, since it applies no obstruction, he can walk through Final Form Frieza's wall. So he's not entirely useless in those scenarios. Or for example, God Vegeta's ult. If he counters through that, he won't get stunned. So he's not completely useless, but he's not really providing much to the team in terms of fight. In terms of like team fights, in terms of like securing boss. His ult is very janky. You can call it a skill issue, but I don't think his ult is that good for securing boss, because the way his ult works is it does more damage the more God of Destruction stacks you have on enemies. And again, some bosses, for example, Ribrianne, are immune to status effects, so you can't stack Mark of Destruction on Ribrianne. So his ult does no damage against Ribrianne. Second worst DPS in the game. It's Deborah. It's Deborah. I love this character. I think Deborah is very fun. But the whole gimmick of being able to stone people is only good early game. Late game, there's not a realistic situation where you're catching the better characters in the game. For example, God Goku, like, you're never catching him because he's always going to be sitting back behind his tower or behind a wall. You're not realistically being able to do any damage to him. Unless he's playing out of position, in which case that's just a bad God Goku player. It's not because Deborah is good, it's just because the God Goku is out of position, or he doesn't know what he's doing. You can get some picks off, but again, the problem with this character is he has no boss presence because he has no way to secure boss. He has no way to deal with team fights because he's more of a one-on-one fighter. He wants to fight one person, stone them, and win. But he can't do that in team fights because he's constantly managing every stone gauge at the same time. So you can't realistically get a stone and then, kill them for free. That's not happening because the other teammates are there to protect their stone teammate, and then they get out of the stone and it's free. Overall, I think the character is just not good enough. I don't really know what they need to buff on him. They need to honestly just make skill 1 give more petrification gauge and make his ult an instant petrification gauge full. Like, I don't understand why that's not a thing already. His ult does no damage anyways. You're not using it for anything else. You might as well just make it a guaranteed stone. There's no reason not to. Okay. Move on to decent enroll. I mean, I'm looking at these tanks, and the only one that comes to mind is God Vegeta. We already talked about Super Saiyan Vegeta. God Vegeta is still a solid-ish character. The nerf to his passive was insane, and there's just too many tanks in the game right now that are just outperforming him. Mostly because of Icarus and other reasons that we'll talk about later. His ult is still very good. His skill 2 is still very, very good. His skill 1 is still very interesting and very good. His skill 3 is whatever. I mean, it can clutch some moments sometimes, but it's always been whatever ever since his release. But like I said earlier, ever since they nerfed his passive to only give 20% cooldowns, it's just very hard to make him look as impressive as he was before. He's still good, but he's not the best tank, and he's not the worst tank. He's just okay. That's why he's decent in roll. Next tank we're going to be talking about is Super Saiyan 4. I think Super Saiyan 4 is still decent. The reason he's still meta, well, at least somewhat meta, is because of Super Saiyan 3 being around a lot. If you're running Super Saiyan 4 against Super Saiyan 3, it's literally Super Saiyan 3's biggest counter. Like, he can't realistically do anything against that. Because all that Super Saiyan 4 needs to do is wait for the Kame, and then just press skill 3, and it's just, he completely neutralized Thoriku's threatening, like, presence. His ult is still decent. They nerfed the pushback in Season 3, I think, so it's not that good anymore, but it's still good enough to, like, be clutch in some scenarios. You can still save teammates, you can still defend, you can still push with it. It's still a solid ult. Skill 2, very buggy right now. It's been buggy for a while. I don't understand what they did to the skill ever since they nerfed, like, the speed at which it goes. It's just really inconsistent at getting wall, like, stuns into walls. It's whatever. Skill 1 is good. They got buffed a few patches ago, so it's actually like a movement option now. His passive is kind of useless. I mean, there's not really any strike-based characters that are meta-relevant, except for, like, I guess you could say Kid Goku, but I wouldn't really call that really meta-relevant. Trunks. Okay, Trunks is a good example. Trunks, he's actually decent against, because Trunks is all strike attack, right? Except for skill 3, but nobody uses it anyways, so it doesn't matter. Except for that, he's really good against Super Saiyan 3, obviously, like I said before. And that's pretty much it. There's some other energy-based characters that you can do well against, but it's not enough to make him, like, a must-run, and it's not enough to make him a bad character. He's just okay. He's okay. That's why he's decent. That's all the tanks we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be moving on to technical now. And I'm going to be putting First Form Frieza. Decent in roll. The only reason he's not the worst in roll right now is because he's actually really good in solo queue for, like, mid to high ranks. His ult is still very, very good. It's probably one of the best technical ults in the game, if not the best. It is applying burn to the area it's on. It's really good at defending because it stops taps. It is simply just a really, 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 really good ult. His skill 3, which buffs speed of allies, can be clutch sometimes. His passive sometimes saves him, but I doubt it really makes that much of a difference against characters that are still going to be able to catch him anyways. For example, another technical, or like Oob with his dashes, or Goku with his skill 2, or Super Saiyan 3 with his Kame teleport. Like, it doesn't really matter that much. Skill 1, skill 2, obviously Zarbon Dodoria. Dodoria is still annoying. Zarbon's still decent for defending towers, but they're just so... Everybody knows what to do against them now, so they're just very easy to melt. You're honestly better off just running Gekishin high on this character and hoping that your team, your enemies don't know that you're going to be ratting for the entire match, because that's honestly most of the value you're going to be getting out of this character. Again, not the worst technical, very close to it though. Got nothing else to say about this character. It's just an ult merchant, honestly. That's all he is. Next character, we're going to be putting Kid Gohan. I still think Kid Gohan can be decent. They nerfed his passive, like, to the ground ever since the hammer nerfs. Still don't understand why they decided to nerf the characters instead of just removing hammers. It makes no sense to me. Why are you gonna gut a character purely because of a rule set that you made, and you're incompetent when you made that rule set? I don't understand what the decision behind that was. Skill 3, it's decent. Sometimes it can save your allies, and it's also just a really quick movement option for you, so sometimes it can save you. Skill 2 is probably still his best move in his kit. I mean, a stun or seal, a movement option that has like a 4-second cooldown. It's very good. You can change it in direction. You can go anywhere you want with it. Like, it's a very good skill. Skill 1 is just Masenko. It's nothing crazy. It's just alright. The pushback on it can be nice sometimes for defending, but it's actually decent damage output, but it's not like you're running him for damage anyways. You're running him as a support battery, which, again, isn't really that effective anymore because they decided to nerf his passive to the ground, so I don't really understand the purpose of this character now, except for skill 2 and ult. Ult is actually a good boss seeker, by the way. Ult, I was just say buff the damage on it. He's actually doing a lot of damage with it. And it's good at defending, obviously, as well. The stun with it, too, can save some clutches for, like, defending and for, obviously, like, stunning, for example, a boss seeker. Like, if you're not confident in... if you're confident in your team securing without you, you can focus on a boss seeker on the opponent's team, and you can just use your ult on them and get the stun. Also, the damage that you get, obviously, from popping it in the first place to your rush attacks is really good, of course. Nothing else to say about the character, though. He's okay. He's not terrible. He's just a whatever. He's a nothing burger character at this point. They just gutted him completely. Is that all for the technicals? No. I'm gonna put Fat Boo at top of decent roll. I would put him good in roll, but the problem right now with him is he needs a team to work around him. If obviously he shines in team fights, right? Because he's constantly providing heals to his team. But the problem is with that is there's a lot of characters right now in the meta that have burst. For example, God Goku skill 1, Trunks skill 1, Kid Goku skill 2, Kefla skill 2. Like, all those characters have, like, insane bursts, so sometimes the healing just isn't enough. But his ult is still very good at max level. Earlier levels for his ult, it's just nothing. It's good if you know how to aim, but even then it's so easy to get out of that it's, like, not really doing much. Skill 1, still very good. The debuffs it applies, still very, very good. And, skill 3, you know, being able to run away is nice. Being able to forcefully push opponents is nice as well. He's okay. He's not meta-relevant, I would say, but he's not a throw pick either. So he's top of decent roll. For DPS, this is probably going to be the more controversial stuff for me, but we'll start with the, like, obvious picks first. I think the third worst DPS in the game right now is Piccolo. Piccolo just needs a team to work around him, and everybody knows the Piccolo hiding spots right now, so it's not realistic to charge Special Beam and secure boss against a competent team because you're just going to get jumped. His skill 3 is still very good for movement, and obviously skill 1, especially on skill 1 damage boost, is still a nuke. It always has been a nuke. The buffs to skill 2 they gave a few patches ago was good, but I don't think it made it a priority to get over skill 3 and skill 1 because you need skill 3 to survive and you need skill 1 to get kills. He's a skill shot character, that's all he is. I mean, he's not terrible. If you have a team that works around him, he can work, but he's not doing much aside from that. He's just trying to get boss, trying to get kills with snipes, and if he can't do that, he's a sitting duck. Like, if he gets caught once without skill 3, he's just cooked. And even with skill 3, sometimes in those narrow paths, like, he's just such a sitting duck in, like, those corners or, like, those... When he's against a wall, like, he's not doing much because his skill 3 can also latch onto enemies. So sometimes you get that and you're just cooked. There's nothing to do. Ooh. Let's go with 18. 18 recently got buffed. Dude, before the buffs, I would have put her... alongside Deborah down here. Actually, let's look. I think Deborah's worse than Topo. But ever since the buffs, the cooldown buffs were actually decent. I still think she's a throw pick because her ult can't secure boss and you can dodge it for some reason. but she's always been a good tank melter. She's always been a good like one-on-one character. The problem again is her team fight presence is very, very like limited, and her boss presence is non-existent, so she's not doing much for that. Still think she's okay. She's not good in any way, shape, or form, but she exists. You know, I guess she exists. Next DPS. Oh, easy. Broly. Same problem we've had with this character since the beginning of his release. He's a strike-based character and an energy-based meta, and they gave him a passive that does well against strike attack. And again, a beam meta, where everything is energy-based. I don't really understand what they're thinking. I mean, I would have thought they would have changed the passive by now, or at least buffed it. But I guess this is the philosophy they wanted, and I guess this is what Broly's going to be for the rest of his life. Unfortunately, he is just not providing enough to the team to be considered, like, meta-relevant in any way, shape, or form. I mean, he's decent in team fights, but he gets melted if there's a Super Saiyan 3, or a God Goku, or a Super Saiyan Goku, or an Oob, or a Bojack, or a Kefla. Like, it's really rough to make him work, because, again, he only has strike defense. He has no energy defense in this kit. His ult is okay. I mean, it's not great. Skill 1 boost, especially, is actually good. I think his skill 1 is one of his best skills in his kit right now, especially on skill 1 boost. But again, the problem is, why would you run Broly in skill 1 boost when Super Saiyan 3 or Trunks exists? Like, what's the point? Or God Goku. I don't really see a reason to run this character ever. Skill 2 being no obstruction is good, you know? I mean, you can jump over Frieza's wall, if that's ever a problem. Or you can be immune to, like, stuns, or characters that can, like, hook you, for example, Kid Buu. Or, for example, Hit, that can stun you out of skill 2, or just an attack from a bush in general. Or, for example, Bulma ult, which is very relevant right now. Bulma ult, he's immune to that if he's using skill 2. But again, he just takes too much damage to be good right now. Even with max build-up, defense step, and, like, prepare to die or Giant Slayer, he's just not doing enough for the team. Next DPS I'm going to be putting in here is Gammas. Gammas have had an interesting lifestyle, or lifespan, I should say. They used to be good, then they were complete garbage, and then they were kind of back with skill 2 reduction, and now they're back to being whatever. They're just a nothing burger character. They're good in team fights. They have relatively no boss presence, except for, like, the 4th boss with Core Breaker. Skill 3's good, Skill 2's good, Skill 1's okay. I don't think this character's bad, I just don't think this character's good. I just don't see a reason to run Gammas right now over any other DPS above them. Like, obviously, I'd rather have a Gamma on my team than, like, a Topo or a Dabura, but, like, between Piccolo, 18, Broly, and Gammas, like, they're all equal to me. I mean, they're all equally, like, somewhat throw picks. They're not providing much to the team. Like, I mean, Gammas can have some moments where they shine, but it's not enough to make them, like, good enough for me. I just think they're missing too much in their kit. Oh yeah, and ever since they removed the stun on this ult, he's just, like, whatever. Next, I think that's gonna be it for Decent and Roll. Let's move on to Good and Roll. Let's start off with the technicals in Good and Roll. And in Good and Roll, I'm going to be putting 17 first. I think 17 is very good on healing attack. I think he is, you know, doing a lot for the team. You know, healing a lot, giving over shield a lot. Except for healing attack, I don't really see a reason to run him. I mean, you can run him and get away with it. He's not bad by any means, but he's just not providing enough for the team, in my opinion. I mean, he can be clutch sometimes. I actually main 17 on technical. Well, I main him with Final Form Frieza. Those are my 2 main technicals. And I've seen a lot of situations where, like, the second use of second skill can be clutch a lot with the stun. Skill 1 is very clutch with, like, the debuffs, and, like, against, for example, Kefla with, like, her skill 3. or well, any other character that gives themselves buffs. I can't really think about it right now. Well, you get my point. My point is, skill 1 can be clutch. Skill 3, obviously a very good move. Overshield can be very clutch. And his ult has always been good. I mean, it's not doing damage, but that's not what it's there for. Healing attack, it heals a lot, and it gives a lot of overshield, so it's very good there. But again, except for healing attack, I don't really see a reason to run this character right now. He's just okay. He's good, but he's not terrible. He's not, like, doing anything outside of healing attack much. He's runnable, but he's not, like, amazing. He's just a very team-reliant character, because you can't be pushing on your own as 17. You can't be, like, going for bosses on your own, obviously, but that's the problem with most technicals anyways. He's okay. Next technical is going to be Gotenks. I actually think Gotenks, ever since the donut buff, is actually pretty solid. Don't use him in solo queue. Solo queue, you're not going to be doing well with him because he is very reliant on communication overall. He needs to be able to tell his teammates when he's going to be donating. So, like, for example, when he's grouping up enemies or grouping up NPCs for farm, if he's not able to tell his allies what he's doing in that situation, he's not going to be providing, like, enough for the team on his own with, like, skill 3 and skill 1. Skill 1 is very easy to get around. His ult is good. His ult is still very good. Skill 2 into ult, donut into ult is still very good. And then you can combine it with other allies' ults, which is good for, like, again, quad queue when you're communicating with people. But if you're in solo queue, it's just not going to work out that well because there's very, like, lackluster communication options overall. He's on an optimal setup. I think he's potentially even great in role, but right now in the meta we're in right now, he's just whatever. Without communication, I don't see this character being anything above good in role, which is not a bad thing. It's not a great thing. It's whatever. That's gonna be all for the technicals and good in role. So now we're gonna move on to tank. We're gonna have Khalifa. Actually, just played a Khalifa match, and she's exactly the same as she was before, except her ult got nerfed a lot. I mean, she's a mosquito. She's just there to be annoying. She's just there to, like, disrupt people that are trying to go for boss, stuff like that, or, like, save her teammates with skill 3. Which is not a bad thing. Her ult doing more damage is nice. I definitely felt the damage on the ult, but it's not like game-changing or anything. Because then they also nerfed the cooldown on it by, like, 30 seconds, which was kind of insane to me. She can still work, obviously. She's good at chasing with skill 2. But again, you're not doing that much damage in the first place, so chasing doesn't really do much for you. I think she's decent. I don't really have anything else to say about this character. She's just whatever. Next tank is going to be Cooler! I used to have Cooler in Brayton role in my past few tier lists, but ever since the lack of not the lack of God Gokus, the lack of Kid Gokus I've seen in the meta, I just don't think this character has much of a place in this meta right now. He's good against Oob. Well, not really, because Oob got a skill 2. He's good against Vegito. He's good against not Daima Goku, Kid Goku. He's good against he's decent against Trunks because he can invincibility through his stuff. He's good against Kefla, of course. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, he's not doing that much damage. His ult is okay. His ult is still very good, actually. Skill 2 is still good. Skill 3 is still decent. Skill 1, if you get the poison off, can be decent as well. It's all situational, so it's whatever. I mean, I think he's a solid tank overall. I just don't think he's amazing or anything. That's pretty much it. That's all for tanks. Now we're going to move on to DPSs in good and roll. I think the worst DPS in good and roll right now is Kale. Kale can melt. Kale can do a lot of damage. She can protect tower very well with skill 2, skill 3. But overall, I think she's just not providing much for the team in terms of like boss secure, because her ult is like very vulnerable if she goes into other ults. Skill 3 to skill 1 is still obviously a very good combo. I don't really play this character much. I don't really have much to say. I know that on skill 1 boost, she still has a lot of damage. Like, I've been melted before by her, so she's still relevant on that. I'm not crazy about that. I know that. That's pretty much all I have to say, though. I mean, like, again, I don't play this character much. I don't really have much to say else about this character. She's okay. She's good. Next DPS we're going to be putting in good and roll is... I'm torn between Bojack and Daimagoku. Daimagoku got gutted really, really bad. I'm gonna go Daimagoku. Daimagoku used to be a menace. He's still decent. His ult is still decent. You know, skill 3 despite the nerfs. A lot of damage reduction with that. The movement speed he gets is still good. Skill 1 to skill 2 combo still does a lot of damage, especially on skill 1 boost. But I don't think it's enough to make the character, like, a must-pick or even, like, a super, super good option on your team. He can work, obviously, but he's kind of just like a sitting duck without that extra stock of skill 3 he used to have. So you gotta be more resourceful about what you're doing, which is not a bad thing. I just don't think that it's enough for him right now, for him to be super relevant. I still see some Daimagoku players here and there, but it's not that many. So overall, good and roll. Next, like I said before, I think Bojack. Bojack goes up here. Bojack, right now, is one of the only characters in the game where I think it's optimal to not get his ult and to just max out your skills. I think he's very good on healing attack. Healing attack, he's actually, like, a menace, unironically. That's pretty much it. I mean, he needs a team to work with him. If you're going to be running Bojack, you kind of need the other DPS that's going to be able to go in. For example, Vegito, Trunks, Kefla, Kid Goku, characters like that. Because he's going to be benefiting them by healing them on healing attack. Even without healing attack, he's okay. I don't think he's great. He can still work, obviously. So it's not a problem if you run him without healing attack. I just think if you want his full potential right now, you need to run him on healing attack. I actually enjoy playing Bojack. So when it's healing attack and I have an opportunity to play him, I'm going to take it. But he's not the greatest healer on healing attacks, so that's why I don't think he's great in roll or best in roll. He's just good. He's okay. He's not bad. He's not a throw pick like he was before the other seasons. Next DPS in good and roll. This is probably where it's going to get a little controversial for some people. I think Kid Goku. Kid Goku, the biggest problem I've had with him ever since his release is his ult is a sacrifice ult. Because there's so many ranged ults in the meta right now, where if you're trying to secure boss with Kid Goku's ult, like 9 times out of 10, you're going to be dying before your ult even reaches the boss. Because everybody else is focusing their ults on the boss. I think his movement is annoying. I think it's very annoying, actually. I think he's very good with movement. If you know how to move with him, he can be very, very oppressive. He has some of the best laning in game with skill 2 and skill 3. But overall, I don't think he's a must-run. He kind of falls off late game, in my opinion. His ult is just not good. Like, at all. At least that's my opinion. You could think otherwise. I just don't see that much value in this character. That's pretty much all I have to say about the character, man. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really see that many Kid Goku players. Next character in good and roll is going to be Super Saiyan Goku. Honestly, you could make an argument for great and roll for him, but overall, I just don't think he's good enough anymore. I mean, the Kaioken nerf was like just like a placebo, honestly. It doesn't really matter that much because you're canceling Kaioken into other moves most of the time anyways. But overall, his ult is still like, you gotta throw it out immediately on boss, and that's kind of like risky if your other DPS doesn't know what you're doing. Skill 1 can still melt, skill 2 can still do a lot of damage. He's very good on skill 1 boost. The movement from Kaioken is still very good. But overall, I think it's just like your good run-of-the-mill DPS that can work, but isn't like a must. Which is not a bad thing. We went through a lot with this character. He used to be the best character in the game in Season 1, and I don't miss that, so I'm fine with him being top of good enroll. That's all I have to say about it. That's all for good enroll. So now we're going to be moving on to great enroll, starting with the technicals. We're going to be going with Hit. I think Hit is still very good. He can still combo people. I love playing Hit, even though he's not my main. I'm not that great with him, but he's very fun. Being able to stun people like over and over again, and being able to blind everybody with your ult is very effective, especially in team fights. But the problem, again, with this character is there's a lot of AoEs in the meta. So, because of that, he kind of struggles to, like, sneak around. Because skill 3 he can get hit out of skill 3, right? With his with like any AoE. Like even if you don't see where he is, if you get lucky or if you just spam it because you're scared. For example, Kid Boo's skill 3. If you just spam that because you're scared of Hit stunning you, then he can't do anything about it. Like, you're gonna hit him, and he can't approach you realistically. So that's one of the reasons he's not, like, that impressive anymore, in my opinion. He's still very, 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 very good. But he's not a must-run like he used to be. You can still obviously make him work. I just don't think he's, I don't think he's just doing that much for the team overall. He's just a very good, like, distraction and team fight character for, like, his team. He's not really good on his own, though. He's terrible at defending as well, so you gotta be careful with that. Overall, I just don't think he's the best technical, but he's still top 4, at least. Next technical is Ultimate Gohan. I still think this character is annoying as shit. I still think this character can be way too oppressive. Again, no control over that, obviously. Like, that's what the devs wanted with him, so, like, whatever. The skill 2, quote-unquote, nerf they gave him a few seasons ago, which I think was a buff because it allows him to run away more easily. Just made him more skill expressive, but he's still, like, brain dead. Like, let's be honest here. Like, he's still brain dead, very annoying, very toxic. I don't want to talk about this character anymore because I hate him, and I hate getting bullied and wombo comboed by him, so I'm gonna move on. Now here's the argument, right? I'm gonna do this right now. I'm gonna put the best technical in role because it's gonna be obvious who it is. I think if you're teaming with a 4-stack that knows what they're doing, I think Frieza's the best character, the best technical in role. But if you're considering solo queue as well, I think Kid Buu is the best technical in role. I'll talk about Frieza first. Frieza being able to wall off boss completely, invalidate people from approaching it unless you're like Super Saiyan 3 with skill 2. Or characters that can just walk through it, for example, Toppo or Broly, which are both bad characters, by the way. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta with his shield can walk through it if he's good with it. God Vegeta can teleport over it, obviously. That's pretty much it, honestly. Gohan, Ultimate Gohan can go through it with skill 2. Hit can go through it with skill 3. Overall, he's not a bad character, but he just needs a team to work with him. But if he does have a team to work with him, I think he's arguably the best technical in the game. His skill 2 got buffed recently. It's a placebo buff, but I still think it's very good. Being able to completely immobilize people and then just let your team completely dogpile on them, like, that's very good. His skill 1 does a lot of damage, especially on skill 1 boost. He's low-key a DPS in disguise if you play him well. And then, obviously, Rock, despite being still buggy, I still think is very good. That's pretty much it. I already talked about his ult. That's pretty much all I gotta say about him. Kid Buu! Kid Buu, despite all the nerf that he got, is still the best technical in the game, and it's because his ult still applies debuffs to bosses, and he's a very skill-expressive character with skill 2. But except for that, like, the rest of his kit is brain dead. I mean, skill 1 to skill 3, like, the massive amounts of slow it provides. The just sheer amount of, like, presence he has in team fights because you're constantly scared of getting hooked by skill 2. Skill 1 being, like, a decent damage output and also just, like, applying debuffs to you when he's rush attacking or when he's using other skills with them. Like, it's very, very toxic and very, very annoying. I think this character needs to be nerfed again. I just don't... I don't know. Like, he still does decent damage, even with the damage nerfs. So, like, I don't know how I feel about this character right now, bro. He's insane. Okay, let's move on to tanks. I think the 4th best tank in the game right now is Cell. Cell is arguably the worst tank in the game early game. But with Icarus, he's not that bad anymore. And when you get to perfection form or perfect form, he's arguably the best tank in the game because his ult defends his entire team from energy-based attacks, so ults aren't a factor to him. He creates an arena that lets him 1v1, which most characters can't, like, pierce through except for, like, God Goku, so, like, you're actually just 1v1ing, or you're 2v1ing if your teammate helps you. Skill 2 being a stun for that long is good. Skill 1 with the slow is insane. Skill 3 still needs a buff, in my opinion. I still think they should give it no obstruction. There's no reason he should be able to get stunned out of it. I think that's just, like, if you do that, instantly better than Baby, instantly better than Bardock, in my opinion. But until his skill 3 becomes a usable move, he is going to be 4th best tank, in my opinion. 3rd best tank, Baby. Ever since the Icarus buffs, and ever since his buffs, I think Baby is very, 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 very good with certain characters. For example, Kefla, Oob, Vegito. That's pretty much it. But, like, there's other DPSs he's good with that, like, they aren't, like, that meta relevant. For example, he's good with Daima Goku, he's good with Kid Goku. He's good with Super Saiyan Goku. The point is, ever since the buffs to his passive, and not his passive, his, his passive of skill 3, like, he's able to spam ult so much more, and it genuinely becomes insane how much damage you can stack up with that ult, because it gets stronger every time you use it, right? And he gets his possession back so fast with skill 2, that the character's kit just flows so well together. And he's honestly arguably one of the most fun tanks in the game. Like, he's so fun, he's so good in, like, team fights, he's very solid, he's good support, he's just amazing. Ever since the buffs, he's just an amazing tank. Well, here it is. Bardock. Bardock is still very good. It's just nothing compared to Bulma, let's be honest here. I mean, his skills can't target Bulma's capsule for some reason, so if Bulma pops down capsule, he just can't fight back. He just does nothing. He's still, like, able to, like, knock around people. He's still able to run away with skill 3. Skill 2 is still good, despite the nerf. Like, it's still alright. His ult doing damage now is very nice. I mean, I think he's still very good. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, he's got good boss presence because he's disrupting people. He's got decent damage. He's got great damage, actually, on skill 1 boost. Like, it feels like pre-patch Bardock, honestly, if you weren't prepared to die on him. Yeah, I mean, he's great. He's an amazing character. He's my tank main. I have a lot of fun with him. I think he's fun as a character. I think he's actually better on controller than keyboard, too, because of the way you can aim his skill 3, but that's another conversation for another time. Overall, a very good character. Very impressive character still. But he's nothing compared to Bulma. Genuinely, what the fuck were they thinking with this character's design? They gave her, like, better speed than every technical in the game. Art of Decoy is the best card on her because it gives her fuel and she's super fast. She can rat for free because of Capsule. She can get maxes for free because of Capsule sometimes. You can't see her on the map when Capsule is placed, so if you're not looking at your map manually, like, you can't see that she's ratting. She can save her team. Her ult has a 2-second stun. She can slow down with skill 1. Her skill 2 is amazing for disrupting and getting people off of her or off of teammates. She can bring a teammate with her ult. She just does everything you want in a tank, and I think she's just way too good, and I think she needs to be nerfed to the ground. Like, the sheer, like, gap in difference between Bardock and Bulma is insane. You could have the best Bardock player in the world versus, like, a top 1000 Bulma, and the Bulma would win 10 times out of 10. Like, it's not close. Bulma's just way too oppressive right now. She just does way too much, and she needs to be nerfed. She's not okay. She needs to go. She's done. I hate this character. Alright. DPS. First, let's start with Trunks. I think Trunks has had an insane glow up. I think he's very good, especially on skill 1 boost. And Team Rush Go, he's good as well. He's honestly one of the most fun DPS in the game, in my opinion. I think he's so much fun. If you haven't played him yet, go play him. He's so fun. He does a lot of damage. He's good at running away. He's good at getting in. He's good at, like, getting kills. He's amazing at team fights because he's just constantly picking people off with skill 1. His ult is honestly the worst part about him in terms of, like, damage. Like, it does less damage than his skill 1, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Doesn't mean it's a bad ult. It's just kind of lackluster in my opinion. But overall, character's very fun. Character's very solid. Does a lot of stuff in team fights. His passive is amazing. I mean, if you know how to use his passive right, you can genuinely team wipe with, like, a Kid Buu on your team, or, like, any supporting character on your team. Like, you can genuinely just stomp with it. He's insane. The only problem with him, obviously, is he's a melee-based character, so he kind of struggles against God Goku or 3Ku if they're playing well. But he's still very, very solid. Next up, Oob. Oob is my main. He's my DPS main. Main problem I have with him is he sucks in lane, and his Kai Secure is non-existent. He's kind of an ult merchant early game, but late game is where he ramps up. And if he has Nappa, he is genuinely doing insane amounts of damage. He is, like, he's chasing people. He's immune to everything with skill 2. He's doing a lot of damage. He's just a very, very good character late game. Again, only reason he's not higher right now is because early game, he's kind of iffy. But except for that, like, I have no complaints about this character. His ult can be a team wipe ult. It's insane. Like, he's very good. Next character, Kefla. Kefla is just a better Oob. Let's be honest here. I mean, Kefla, the only reason, like, you would want to play Oob over Kefla is for the, like, the amount of damage ult does. Like, that's the only reason you want to play Oob over Kefla. Kefla just has better movement. She has a better passive. She has better overall, like, bursts of damage, in my opinion. Better way to, like, secure kills with skill 2. Her skill 3 is still busted on Team Rush Go. Her skill 1 is, like, the only skill that's, like, whatever. It's actually a skill I skip over. But it's still a very good skill overall. That's all I gotta say, honestly. 4th best DPS in the game. I mean, she's still very good despite the nerfs that she got back in Season 3 or 4, I think? I'm not sure. Point is, she's still very good. Next character, Super Vegeta. I think Vegeto's probably the most anti-meta DPS in the game right now. Because he doesn't want to go for boss, he wants to go for team wipes instead of boss, and then get boss. The thing with him is, he's a teamfight character, so he doesn't really shine that much in 1v1s. He can still win 1v1s, obviously, but he is amazing in team fights. That's where he wants to be. That's where he wants to dominate. Like, he's not securing boss that well with ult. He's not doing much in terms of, 1v1s, like I said, or boss secure, or boss presence. I mean, his boss presence is good, but not because he's getting boss, but because he's getting team wipes, or he's picking off people against the enemy team. Overall, very good character. Skill 2, being able to chase. Skill 3, slowing down. Skill 1, just an amazing skill overall. His passive is great. Ult is an amazing ult because you can use it multiple times in team fights. Just a very, very, very good character overall. third best DPS in the game. By far. Now we go for best in role. I'm going to put Super Saiyan 3 here first. And I'll explain why in a second. Super Saiyan 3 is the most overtuned character. Well, overbuffed character, in my opinion. The nerf that they quote-unquote gave him, it did nothing. It's nothing. It's a placebo nerf. It did nothing. He's still the second best DPS. 10-second teleport. Frame 1 ult. Kame that still melts, and there's still skill 1 boost. He's relevant on 3 of the 8 divine draws, which means 50% of the time you have to run him. Because he's relevant on healing attack, super start, and skill 1 boost. Skill 2 can go through over walls. He can IT out of any situation if he needs to. He's just way too oppressive right now, and he's doing way too much for every team that he's on. I want this character nerfed, even though he already got, again, quote-unquote nerfed. It was nothing. He needs to get gutted again. I hate this character. If you use him and you lose, skill issue. I have nothing else to say to you. I hate him. But I don't hate him as much as this character. God Goku is so bullshit. You can sit on your tower while it's being attacked and be fine because you can still secure boss from anywhere on the map. You can do everything you want. Skill 2 melts. Skill 1 does ludicrous amounts of damage even if it's not on skill 1 boost. Skill 3 is insane for buffing his ult and his skills. He can just sit back, do whatever he wants, and he does not care because he's always safe. The only reason you should be dying as God Goku is if you are out of position, in which case, that is your fault. If you're out of position as character, that is your fault. You should not be out of position. This character is way too oppressive, and he needs to be nerfed. The nerf that they gave to skill 2 is not a nerf. It's nothing. It did nothing. The problem is his skill 1 and his ult, and they just did nothing about that. This character is way too overtuned. I hate him. If you lose with him, it's a skill issue. Again, there's no reason that this character should be this oppressive and this, like, free to run. I hate him. I absolutely hate this character. Oh my god, this character pisses me off. Alright, that's my tier list. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. And I'll catch you guys later.